Hi, I'm Trixie, and I'm here to talk today about characters in your stories. How I go about figuring out who they are, picture-wise and profile-wise and everything. I had a character chart that I was using that I showed you in the first video. It was just so many questions, and I'm never going to get that far in depth. And so I decided to make one of my own. But first I wanted to show you one of the pictures of one of my characters. Now I get my pictures mostly off from Pinterest or other free sites where you can just take an image of somebody and kind of build your character off that. And I thought I'm going to show you how I do this so that you can understand why I did the profile the way I did. Okay, here's one of my characters. This is Marmee, and she, oh, let me see. Okay, she is a grandmother in the second book of the series. Now, as I've said before, I am writing a series. So far I've got 4 books going. It's a long story. So what I've done is I've broken it into 4 sections. And so when I'm writing, I know what each section is about. And if I get inspiration or an idea or anything, I put it into the right book. Well, Marmee is a character in the second book, and she is the grandmother of the missing girl. And because this is a Christian suspense kind of novel, she is going to be a praying grandma, you know, and the little girl, she has always called her Marmee, and so that just kind of stuck with everybody. Now she's become known as that. Now, when I get an elegant picture like this, oh my, you know, it's just like you've got the description, you've got the elegance, you've got the love of a grandmother, you've got, hey, she's even got a cross on, which I totally didn't look for but was pleased to see. She's got a cross necklace. She's very proud, she's very distinguished. And you have that whole description, right? So you have this description of the grandmother because you've got the picture. The profile, I was trying to figure out, okay, what questions do I actually have to answer to make sure that the character is built up in the reader's mind. Since you've got the picture, you can describe her. But in my profile, I decided to just ask questions. You know, full name, the meaning of the name. If that has any bearing on your story whatsoever, like mine usually does. I like to know the meanings of names and why people name their children the way they do, or how somebody got the nickname that they got. The next question, who were they named after and why? If it was an old family member from, you know, generations back, or just one generation back, or whatever, how did they get their name? Born, their place and time, when they were born, where they were born, what time, not time necessarily, but you know, year, and whatever, what their age is. If they've died in the story, where they died, and the year maybe, and so that we can get a timeline on it. If it's, you know, a child that's died, a older person that's died, we can get a timeline on somewhat part of the story this way. Where they live, their weight, height, and body type. Now you're going to be able to get that off the picture, but maybe for your stories type, you know, you might want to have that. You know, if it's a guy and he's been lifting weights and he's got the muscles, and or if he's just perhaps a computer nerd and doesn't work out, but he's got the brain, you know, he's the brain of the operation. The type of clothing they wear. This can be a nice addition to your story as well. Do they wear ripped jeans, or do they wear an elegant dress? A portrait type dress for their everyday clothes. You just, you know, clothes make the person, right? Distinguishing marks. Do they have a mole? Do they have a tattoo? Do they have a scar of some kind? Are they an optimist or a pessimist? Are they introvert or extrovert? Some of these things may be very, very integral to the part of the story that you're writing. The favorite and least favorite color. You never know when that's going to come in handy. Okay, these are the very thought-provoking questions. The truth they believe. The lie they believe. What do they believe about themselves that's been a lie this whole time? Or what do they believe about themselves that's been the truth the whole time? What she or he loves to do. That could be very integral as well. Maybe they love to take pictures, and they are a great photographer. Maybe they like to go along the river in a kayak. Whatever it is that they love to do, that could be very, very integral to your story. The backstory. Have a little bit of a written down version of their backstory, so that you've got a little bit of, hey, in your brain, you need to know that character really does that well or doesn't do that well because this happened in their childhood that, you know, marked their whole life. What is their greatest strength? Or the greatest weakness? Character flaws. Good one. You have to have character flaws. You cannot have a character who's perfect. That's a boring story. Everybody has flaws, and everybody doesn't like to always remember that they do, or that they want everybody to know about them. But everybody's got them. It makes us unique. It makes us interesting. The character arc. You might want to have that in your profile as well. Where they have started from, where their midpoint is, and where they're going to be at the end of the story. Okay, and the last two. The character's darkest secret. What do they have in their background, their backstory, their thought processes? What is it that drives them? Does anyone else know? And if yes, did this person tell them? If no, how did they find out? Now, this is just something that I put together because this is the kind of profile that I feel is going to suit me better than the 1,000-question one that has questions on there that I'm never going to have in my story. I've got the picture, I've got the description, I've got the attitude, the bravery, the essence of who they are. And then you've got the questionnaire that will tell you all the things that they're thinking, or how they got where they are, how each of these things made them the person that they are today. And this is all just each character, right? You're bringing life to your book when you bring life to your characters. And it's all a matter of perspective. How far do you want to go? Some people in your books don't have to be as well defined, but some people do. And you really want to have their full potential when you are writing this story, so that you can bring a better depth to your book and to your writing. It makes it more fun. And I find this kind of stuff, I love to fill out forms, not so much forms as much as this kind of stuff kind of excites me. You're filling out things for your characters that you're going to draw on later, and it makes the whole process a lot more fun if you've got something to go with the picture. And what I'm going to do now for her, I'm going to on the back side, I've kept it plain, I'm going to put this inside the page protector, so I have the whole character all together. And I'm going to put it in my story Bible, which is a big binder that zips up. I've got all my characters in there. I'm going to have all their profiles in there. And whenever I want to see my character and know who they are, I can go in there and I can figure out, oh yeah, that's what I put down for the backstory. Okay, now I can go on. I've got lots of characters and lots of backgrounds and story profiles or these character profiles to fill out, but I'm going to make them so interesting that I want to write this. And I'm looking forward to it. It's part of the whole process, and I think if you're going to have a series, you don't want to mess up on a single aspect of it. If you've got these profiles filled out and the pictures, you can go back and you can look at these and not get anything wrong throughout your whole series. It's all a matter of making sure that you've got it all in one place. It's the same with my drawing of the town that the main character throughout all these books goes to. I've got all of it written out, drawn out. I know where each of the stores are, the restaurants, the streets, directions, all that kind of stuff. That way when I'm writing, I know that, she's going to go out left or right, on Main Street, and she's going to come to such and such a place. And if you're walking this small town, you're gonna be able to hit all these shops, just in walking distance. And it's making it a lot easier for me because I've got it drawn out. I know where all these places are. I know that if someone's walking or riding their bike or driving a car, they're going to be able to get to these places because I'm going to know which directions to go into. It's all part of your story series Bible. And I know that I showed you the big binder. I don't want to get it out right now. It's behind the camera. And but maybe sometime I can have the bird's eye view of it where I'm not holding it up because it is kind of heavy. And I can flip through it and make sure that you can see it too. And it's just something that, you know, you might want to consider for your own stories. Are you writing a series or just a standalone? Even in standalones, you're going to need to know who your character is. You know, draw him out. Make sure that they've got all the things that you need portrayed to make your story interesting. And I know you're going to do that. It's something as a writer you want to have the, you know, the momentum to continue the story and not lose your reader's interest. So that's my my take on how to do this, my version of it. I like to have the picture so I can see. I'm a visual person. I like to have the tactile writing on paper, filling it out. And I like to be able to have it all in one place in my binder. I like to be able to flip the pages and see all my characters, know who they are, realize that this has become real in my mind. They're just as real to me as anybody in my own family at this point. And I think that's also what makes a good story, because you know the characters so well. So I think with that, I'm going to say goodbye. But first I want to say, tell your story for His glory. See you next time.